All right, good morning. Quick sound check. What's up, guys? We got some interesting movement here today. I'm in no rush to do anything here. I really like the Russell gap here, and we're pushing up into 3050s here now. Thirty forties holding really well there. I wasn't a huge fan of where everything else was, so kind of discounting this first move on the Russell so far. We've got the Dow maybe pushing up into those 689s, which we front ran from yesterday. And then I'm kind of watching the NASDAQ here to see if we can't pull back to this 983.50s. That's going to be potentially the next trade, I think, on the board here. So I want to see how that reacts. I'm also watching here, and it's like, you look across the board, and it's like Apple's weak, Microsoft's weak, Amazon is weak, Google is weak, Meta hard first initial bar there out of the gate. You can argue that Tesla was weak from yesterday there as well. So I'm just not super intrigued with where charts are at in general at the moment. I don't love where this NASDAQ weekly chart is and kind of all that. So I'm not like super opposed to just kind of chilling here for a bit and letting this kind of figure itself out. I am open, like I said, to this 983s if it does want to do something, but I'm not married to that idea at this point in time. Also, I did a giveaway in the Discord yesterday. I'll do it again today. I won my own giveaway, which is kind of crazy, but in fact, let's just do it right now. We got Nasdaq here down into this 983.50 area. So far, range on the day is 217 points. We might just kind of push right through here and do nothing in terms of any kind of hold. These overnight lows are down here towards like 925s. I posted that up. This is the part where I'm like, all right, Dow is maybe trying to act like it wants to try and push a little bit higher here to go grab those 689s. The Nasdaq has gotten absolutely rocked to the downside. We traded up these highs are 681s. 676 yesterday, so we're like right there. And the Russell already got a sharp pullback there and pushed down through almost to lows now. $681, so 682s would be those highs. Set some alerts. Nasdaq just dropped it like a rock though. That's tough. That is tough. It kind of looks like Dow is going to try and push back up there to go get 689s. But there's really no entry, nothing to do here. Nasdaq just freaking dropping. Yeah, no, an impressive dump for sure. Now what do we do? I don't know, honestly. Maybe we try the Russell. Like, maybe, or we just sit on hands and let everything kind of collapse. I suppose there's technically room. Where is that overnight low at? I think we might have already traded that actually. An aggressive drop. An aggressive drop, that's for sure. I reposted the giveaway there in the giveaway channel in Discord, so be sure to enter into that if you have not done so already. I still kind of think that there's a idea for a Dow long at some point. I know it looks kind of ugly, it looks tough at the moment, but I think at some point this probably tries to make a push back up to 689s. And it would make sense that then that becomes the high a day if we're gonna like really roll over and die for the rest of the markets, which NASDAQ has technically dumped what, like 600 points so far? It's not like this is a little move by any means. We gave absolutely no care in the world to that 983s when we came down through there, like at all. It's a nice rally back in the Dow there. Right back up to opening print, see if it rejects from there and goes back down, or if we can push up through. It's trying to hold at the moment in the face of this NASDAQ straight selling pressure. What's crazy here is like, I'm just watching the ticks and it's like, we're positive 108 at the moment on ticks. Like ticks haven't even, we crossed negative for a moment, minus 118s, but like we really haven't gotten aggressive to the downside from a tick standpoint, like at all. Like this is kind of crazy, honestly. Like I said though, I don't really know where we go. MU not really dropping all that much either. Dow's trying to hold a little bit. That open is 537s. I wouldn't be opposed if we like reject this just a little bit, kind of come back down. And then maybe see something, and then we can get back up over the open there and try and push a little bit. Something like that. Nice little push there. That's got the Russell right back up where 3040 is at. We need to see a little bit more here out of this though, I think. Yeah, immediately comes right back down. That's not a good sign. Not a good sign. NASDAQ looks like it's about to make new lows there again. Dow's trying to hold opening print here a little bit. NASDAQ new lows. I really wouldn't be surprised to see this go make that push up into 689s. I think we got one more move lower, maybe back down towards like 52,500s here. If we're going to do anything like that, that would be kind of the expectation, I think. There's a lot of work for it to do to turn this around though, but there's a decent little bit of room, 150-ish points from opening print. NASDAQ with the new low so far, only market. Sheesh. Ticks are still positive at the moment, plus 223s. That's crazy. Like, honestly, kind of unreal. Dow coming down. See if it maybe makes new lows here. If it can get back up over 537 area, that opening print, then I think we might have something to work with there. But we'd have to start working on that rather quickly here, or else we're probably going to be in trouble. looks like it's gonna go lower. No 689 test for the Dow there. Hashtag just crazy. That's a little wild. 857.5 points so far in the NASDAQ. We're 26 minutes into the day. That's kind of crazy, actually. That's actually kind of wild. Anybody do anything with this? Like, I don't really know how. I don't really know how you would have played it. We had the 983s like just below, but if anybody was like super bear for some reason. I'm looking at this Dow and I like it, but I just don't love this bottoming tail. You got whacked in a call. Yeah, that's not good. I'm sure those got absolutely wrecked. Netflix actually trying to turn green, which is funny. Man, I freaking got bit on the knuckle by some ants, and that shit is just freaking itching and being a pain in my ass. S&P's NASDAQ still going for lows here. It's pretty nuts. Quick pop there to 512s on Dow, now pulling back some. Son of a bitch. Would I consider 29,384s from yesterday? I don't love it because it's the end of the day. I mean, not technically, no, but does it provide something here? Probably. Between that or a low a day from yesterday. All right, Dow's getting up here. That's a nice 100-point 2-minute bar now out of the Dow. Like I said, I think that wants to go get those over, or that 689s and kind of get back up there. I really like the weekly in there too, so I'm going to stalk this and assuming that this becomes the low somewhere down in here. I don't know how we're going to find an entry into this and like make the risk reward make sense, just given that it's having a 100-point, 2-minute bar. Like, really can't do anything with that unless you were to just take it here around the open and kind of wing it to the upside, see what happens. It's probably not a terrible idea, but also not my favorite. But that's a nice move now. 140.5 minute bar there. Yeah, you suck. You suck. Like, what is this? Here's Russell all the way back up here now. Dow looks like it's going to go with the 689s here, but I don't know what there is we can do with it. At this point, we're so close, we might as well just go get it. There it is. I'm not really interested in shorting that, but I would be open to longs. We get up through here and kind of do something else with it from there. I don't know what are all these alerts here. Yeah, massive move in the Dow. Total range 354 points now. That's a big ripper back. I would have loved to have something on in the Dow here. That was kind of the one that we were watching for, getting the move back up into 689s here, but no real way to find an entry unless you just took a 2-minute potential stab for that failed breakdown there just 6 minutes ago, 7 minutes ago, whatever it was now. We do have the Russell trying to get back up through these 30-40s here. Damn, that's an impressive Dow move. I think we might have more on it in the day. Like, you look at the weekly chart, it's kind of beautiful. But we've just went 2, 4, 6, 8 minutes straight up there. 369 points. 369. I feel like that should just stay the range on the day. 369. Damn, she's fun. Let me stack it to you one more time. Yellow. Yellow when the whistle blows. Totally different song, but eh. I love a pullback in the Dow to 689s. Yeah, it's a 100-point pullback, but I think from there, if we can get it, then I think there's room for us to potentially see like 53,000. I mean, it's new all-time highs. There's really nothing. There's really nothing up here to say where we can go. In the DIA, I guess we're technically right at this 523.79s, so 524.17s are up there, and then we're literally a fresh breakout. But if it's just going to keep going straight up, then there's obviously nothing we can do with that. Same thing in the Russell. 1010. Would it be crazy? It would be crazy if NASDAQ manages to get back over 983s, because from there we would technically have room to like 457s. So there's like 460, 470 points worth of room even after we rally another 230 points. That would take a lot, but, and again, that weekly chart's still not my favorite, but there would be no denying that strength coming back off of lows at that point. Just gonna wait for pullbacks here. See if there's anything we can do. Russell's gonna try and pull back to this 30-40s here, it looks like. Massive ripper in the Dow, 456 point range on the day. Do we look at the Russell here? We pulled back, we traded 39.90s there. That level's 40.10s. There's no way we just come right off that like that, right? We're just gonna tag it and then immediately rip back to the upside like that. We got to be patient here. Russell getting a nice little kind of push to the downside there. Dow still just pushing those highs at the moment, which is super tough. Super tough. I kind of like this Russell where it's at. Let's see if we can't come back down and retake these 3380s one more time and finally set a little bit of a higher low in there. Dow is a freaking beast, 496 points now. That might be all the pullback it gets. I'm just not getting the entries that I want here. There's a long here in the Russell. So maybe a long here in the NASDAQ as well. 476 is like a 200 point stop basically in the NASDAQ. I don't love that. This is crazy. Oh, I don't know what I'm going to be able to do here. That's just the difficult piece. I'm just being patient here. I don't know that I don't know that I love where we are. Yeah, I'd prefer a solid 5 minute Dow pullback as well, but I don't know that we're going to get it. It doesn't seem like it at this point, so These markets are moving though. I'm slowly losing interest at the moment though is the only problem for me. I'm just like, I don't know that the Russell makes the move from here without doing something additional. It does look good, like it could potentially do it, but I also just don't love it at the same time. I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. Ay, Dios míos. We need a better pullback here in the Dow to really work with. Which we're just not getting. 628 point range for the Dow is kind of insane. I guess there's technically like 300 points that NASDAQ could fall. I mean, if this kind of holds true up over in here, 690s, we traded 685 50s. So maybe a little bit of pop here up towards like, 640s, and then it gives it up. And we go lower in the NASDAQ. I could see that being a thing. I don't know. I wouldn't be too terribly surprised by that. Russell's pushing nicely there. There's your 640 press for NASDAQ. It's either that or it rallies the whole thing back. Russell just continues to truck higher here. That's tough. That's tough. NASDAQ did kind of just pop over these 690s over here a little bit. I don't know. Russell giving us pullbacks now for longs would be a little tough. We just went through highs, so it's not as desirable, I guess, if you want to say that at this point. NASDAQ gets back under like 584s and we probably go lower. That maybe gets the Dow the pullback to 689s, which is 350 points. Neither are great. This low is 925. Wait, 29,295.75s. Yeah, that'd be the risk, is that we end up losing the S&Ps and the NASDAQ, which isn't the worst thing in the world. The NASDAQ weekly chart is not the greatest looking chart from a long perspective. The daily chart here, yeah, we got a bit of a bottoming tail now, but I could certainly see that taking out that green bar. On the other hand, we did technically open above the 983s. So it's like, we got an 897 point range on the day. Like, if we are going to essentially fail and go lower, it's from somewhere right up in here, though, is the thing. Like, this would be that area. There's a little bit like kind of 2 minute 1, 2, 3 looking thing to the upside at the moment, but even that, it's like, The S&P's rallied back a good bit, though. Like, S&Ps are within shouting distance of opening print. They did technically make new lows under yesterday's lows. We kind of swept those a little bit. We front ran those 93.50s up there. I don't know. If I had longs in the Russell or the Dow, I would continue to look to hold them and just trail them at this point, maybe have some profits out. If I was looking for a new position, probably somewhere right in through here with stops over like 716s for the NASDAQ, and just looking to see if we can't get a move back down to, these lows and maybe then some, right? That would essentially be like this kind of look right there. And see if we can't do that. There is a divergence. Russell Dow making new highs. That makes sense, right? They're the two stronger markets. Is it worth 70 points worth of risk, give or take? Call it $150 per contract on a micro. Could be wrong one time on it. The technical trigger isn't going to be until under 584s. So in theory, you would need, 140 points worth of risk. Meh. Like, that's not my favorite thing in the world to do, but at this point, it does look like we want to try and go back lower in the NASDAQ. It also looks like we want to go higher in the Russell and the Dow. Could we use a pullback? Sure, but they are also just really, really strong. So I'm not super in love with anything here. What do we rally? 300 to 700, 400 points off lows. The only other like kind of thought is like if NASDAQ, well, if Russell Dow do pull back, typically lately that has been S&Ps and NASDAQ get a chance to rally. So it's like maybe Dow gets a pullback. If it does S&P and NASDAQ do what they've been doing, which is try and get a rally? I don't really know. The 10 years been dumping. Take a look at bonds. Yeah, bonds higher, rates lower. Dow giving the first little crack of the day for a pullback here. Excuse me. It would be kind of wild to think that we rally this whole thing back in NASDAQ after that drop. Like that's a pretty bold market statement to make from a bullish standpoint. I mean, I mentioned it earlier that it would be wild if we did that, but it's also a very bullish stance to have taken if that's what it does. Yeah, let's see. Let me look at QQQs. I just want to see where we're at, like kind of bigger picture stuff. I haven't looked on there. Q's has the level from yesterday just because we didn't get the that big rally from the MU earnings in there. I don't know. I'm kind of leaning towards maybe 699s just as the idea for the day. Why not? 699.35s. The ticks are now hitting the this is a new low on the day for ticks. Like we've managed to do everything we've done today from a sell-off to a rally standpoint, and the ticks are just now pushing minus 400. So yeah, I would be cautious on that. I think we might be in the let's see, total range right now is $21.53. And that's 897 points for, let me see what this range right now is 147 points for your NASDAQ. It's $3.50 basically. So 4 times 600 points lower, give or take. So like NASDAQ 29,000 basically would be the equivalent. Yeah, I think that's what we do. I just looked at the options pricing. They're ridiculously expensive even for 0 days. But I kind of think that's where we go. The Qs I think have room to that 699s. Russell and Dow could save the day at some point, but I think QQQ has the potential to get to 699s, 699.35s. So that's like 29,000 even, give or take, for NASDAQ futures. It'd be cool to see us drop like another 500 points, get a 1,000+ point range going, and then tomorrow we get a big gap down, and then we can long that. Just get exhausted to the downside, long that. Market fades back up on a Friday, and we call it good. I don't know. That doesn't seem like a terrible idea to me. Again, Russell Dow could save the day here, and NASDAQ could end up kind of rallying some more of this back, but doesn't seem like a terrible idea. 15-minute low here was 564 quarters. We traded 562s. NASDAQ right back up. Again, it's a tough read here either way. Like I don't put a ton of stock in this at the moment. I think we go lower. I'm not necessarily trying to play for it, but I mean, Apple's staying weak though. Maybe play that. If we do finally get the breakdown, maybe that's the one. This move is not pretty for Apple by any means. There's a little bit more room to go down towards those that 200-day moving average too. 680 or 280s.23s. It's not a good look that it's just chilling right underneath this. S&P's going higher. Russell trying to push highs here. NASDAQ pushing highs there now. NASDAQ popping right over those 716s or whatever that was over there. 716 quarters. Pretty impressive strength. Given the move lower, everything like that. It would be a super aggressive, I wouldn't be able to do it, but it would be a super aggressive short here, thinking back under 716s. That 15-minute, essentially getting that trigger under the 84s down there, 584s, traded 562s, and then ripping back up would be a no-go on that, but maybe we don't go lower. That's a tough read either way. NASDAQ back to all-time highs? We're at 74.73s here. There's still 20 points to get to those 74.93s. I don't know. I feel like we'll just be like chasing our tail here at this point. Let me see. The Qs trade the... No, not quite. QQQ level is just a little bit above here. We didn't quite trade it. RTY just continuing to go. $10.54 dumpster time maybe. I don't know. I feel like we should have gone on that 15-minute. If we were going to. I'm losing interest here though. I don't want to like flip-flop the ideas here from long to short, long to short. Dow could have used a pullback there. It didn't really get much. Tap 780s. Yeah, maybe. I still think the best looking short on the board from an individual chart perspective is probably still Apple. If you were in the camp of NASDAQ goes lower, which I'm kind of in that camp, but I'm also just, I see the strength in the Russell Dow, even S&Ps, and I'm just kind of like, eh. But if I was to try and play that, I think it would probably end up being an Apple, realistically. That probably makes the most sense. It also would be really surprising that the S&Ps come up here this close to opening print of 85s and the level from above at 93.50s after this rally back, like, and then doesn't go get it. Like, that would also be surprising to me, I think. So again, there's good valid arguments for either way here. NASDAQ right back down into this range. I'm not opposed to it. That looks a whole lot better from a 5-minute chart perspective. Like, it actually looks really good. That's going to be a tough bar to try and essentially break back to the upside. We might be able to get something to work in this. If we just immediately reverse it though, that's going to be a problem. I'll be like, nah. Like, I don't want any parts of that if that's the case. We could always just set up an eval and take it in there. It's probably not a terrible idea, honestly. Yeah, just full port it. Probably makes the most sense. Dow actually getting a pretty nice little pullback there too, so Maybe NASDAQ comes down, makes new lows, does its thing, right? And then that's what gets the Dow its pullback, and then we can long the Dow. I mean, if we want to wait around for that, it's also not a terrible idea. That's just such an ugly bar on like S&P's NASDAQ to the downside there. Like that's just a tremendously ugly bar. I'm gonna pull up the micros here for NASDAQ. I might bite on the short idea here, we'll see. That high is what, 776? So is that 150 points, give or take? Is it worth the risk? Is it worth the risk is the question. It'd be like right at 100 points, right in through here. Assuming that that becomes what it is. We traded 687s there. Let's see if we take that one more time. Traded 691s. It's gonna be tough because we could easily just erase this entire red bar. Traded 698s. We still got minute 30 left on this bar. The Dow is getting the pullback. I'm not super interested in trying to short that, but it is getting a pullback. Do we do... Let's call it 300 to 700. There's 400 points, give or take, worth of room. Those old prior highs were like 716s. The only problem is Q's never really tested that upper level there on that little push earlier. So I got 30 seconds left on this bar. If you want to be aggressive, you could try it here from like 700s. Give it like 25 points, see if it doesn't go past that. The big risk is that it just goes straight back up through these 776s though, and there's nothing you can do about that. Yeah, I think today has certainly been trickier than the rest of the week. Yeah, like NASDAQ just wanting to look like it goes higher here. The high is 746s. I'm going to try a short here. The stop's over those 746s, so I'm going to keep it fairly tight and contained from that standpoint. I'm just using micros here. Let's see if we can't kind of flush down here and get under 29,600s. Again, a little bit of a riskier type of play. I'm using micros again. I'm not trying to be a hero here or nothing. I'm just going to assume that that's what this turns into, though, is a potential for the flush to the downside. I kind of want to take my little scalp and go home. Like already, I'm just like, eh. Drop. Wrong way. Your other drop. Your other drop. Pull the lever. Flush this shit. Go, go, go. If we get under 607s, that'd actually be kind of decent. I don't know if we will or won't, but if we can, then it looks a whole lot better. Russell's about to lose Well, about to test opening print. I shouldn't say lose opening print. This would be the first little target area down here, 630s. If you wanted to take some, it's not terrible. You pop back up to 655s there. I'd like to see this next bar kind of push down under 607s. That would end up being looking really nice. And then under 562s, even better. That high was 661 on this bar. Quick 100-point range bar right down under 652s. 661s on those highs. Dow's getting a nice little pullback here. About 60, 70 points away from that 689s. We can dip under these 607s here, currently doing so. I haven't taken anything just yet. 661s are those highs on this bar. Open of this bar, 633s. So not terrible. 562 is going to be coming up, I think. This is about 100 points right in through here somewhere. 581s on that low. Traded 608s on those pullbacks there. I'm gonna lock some at like 610. It might be a little bit tight, but I'm okay with it. We really shouldn't get back. We really shouldn't need to get back up there again. We're going to be coming down to these 689s here for the Dow. There's those 562s breaking. I like that. That's probably a pretty decent spot to look at maybe taking some off, but there's still a lot of room, so I'm just trying to let it do its thing. And Dow's trading those 689s though. I wonder if that can hold and NASDAQ goes down, makes new lows, gives us a divergence. Just NASDAQ go real quick. Just real quick like. Speedy like the Flash. My stops are all the way up there at 610s. Or a trail at least at 610s. This little low over in here is 477 quarters. So 477s. That was minus 985 on ticks there. The open of the hourly is 586s there. We might lose this 689s for Dow. The high is 550s. Bar's about to close. We'll get a new one. I'm going to take one, take a little profit here, and then we're going to try and hold the other. Let's see if we can't get to these lows. Got a new bar there, 535 quarters on highs. Nice. That was a good move. It was about 3.5 R's there on that first target, so I really couldn't not take something there. We'll trail at 535s now, 540s, somewhere around there. We got 776s. It's 200 points here. Anybody take this with me? We haven't caught a nice short in a while. You got it, Joe? Nice. Let's go. Yeah, we took the short. We took the short. I got fills at like 691s. 691s. I'm going to let it have a rally. We've already taken some profits on this, so if it needs a bit of a rally, I'm okay with it. And I'm kind of leaning towards the idea that we got Russell under its level, we got Dow under its level now at the moment. It could technically still hold that, but we either take it all here and assume that market rallies back, or we give it the room to rally back and then continue to go lower. So I'm sort of conflicted on that, but we've already locked in some on it, so I'm not like too upset if we have to end up rallying this back and trailing some of it, but the Dow could be also setting up the long here from 689s, which would be not the greatest thing in our favor. The problem with short cover rallies like this is they can just be rather aggressive, like the 100 points we just saw us rally. It's like that little 477s right here. This little spike down there was kind of important. It made sense to go ahead and take some there. Again, the only reason I'm willing to give this some room here is I think that we might have the potential to get through those 295s. So I'm half tempted, and this obviously would have worked pretty well yesterday, and I got ticked out of it by 2 ticks. And I'm trying like not to let that influence my decisions. But I'm half tempted to let this potentially come all the way back. I don't really want to, but I'm half tempted to do that, to let it see if it will get the rest of the drop. I don't love the way the Dow is acting though. That's my only kind of piece there. And the Dow is the thing in which I've been waiting for a pullback for longs, and that's currently setting up, and I can't long the Dow and be short NASDAQ at the same time. But I'm going to assume that we go lower here and Dow can hold. This Dow long doesn't look bad here. Fudge sickles. I don't want to do it, but it's probably the right move to close this. The little greedy dude on my shoulder is like, keep it on, let it drop, let it run. The other little dude on my shoulder is like, Dow is setting up the long that you've been waiting for freaking ever. This opens 33s. We just traded 28 quarters. Nice, good work, Joe. When are we doing those one-on-ones? Whenever you get back? I need you to tell me what to do. Show me the secrets. 639s on those highs. Over 640s, I'll take this off. The big huevos. All right, I put a trail stop in there, 641s. I'm kind of kicking myself because we probably should have taken that and longed the Dow. But we caught a nice little short there on the NASDAQ, so I'm happy with that. I just want a long here in the Dow still. That 15-minute setting up pretty nicely, so It was a good little short though in the NASDAQ. We had 200 points on that first, or almost 200 points, I should say, on that first trim. Yeah, 170 points on the first trim. I'll take that. That was kind of an unfortunate little take me out up there. Feel somewhat targeted on that. Trade up to 666. Not good, not good. So what do we have from a room standpoint? 400 points. The Dow's got plenty of room. I'd love to see this 15-minute bar set. We've got another 2 minutes to go on that basically. And then see if we can't get a pullback here to 689s for a retest. And then I'd be down for that long. We don't really have a divergence, but we do have at least the Dow pull back into 689s. I'll take a retest of that. Maybe NASDAQ goes down and gets that, but it's not entirely necessary. By the way, don't forget about the giveaway there in the Discord channel. Let's see if we can't get this Dow to pull back here. No, it's in the giveaways channel. S&Ps actually look really good now for that move up to 74.93s. See if we can't get this Dow to pull back here for us. A volatile day for sure. No question about that. All right, nice little pullback here. See if we can trade 689s, give us something to work with from there. And then rally to highs. Uh, 689 is a level. I'm kind of halfway thinking the NASDAQ is done going lower as well. 776 is up. I'm not taking anything in there. I'm just going to set some alerts for over 777s. All right, high at the moment is 723 on this bar for the Dow. Are we really going to front run this? No, we are not. You gotta be joking me. Apple actually getting a pretty decent little kind of bump off those lows. It didn't get as much of a pullback there or a sell off there as I thought it would with NASDAQ doing what it was doing. All right, 728 is now that high for the Dow. So if we can trade this 689s and then we'll trade at 691s. $690s traded there. Entries would be back up over like 730s here at this point. Just letting it get this pullback. See what it wants to do from here. Dow not looking super great there on the pullback. See if we can get back up through 689s now. The low on that bar is 657s. How's the NASDAQ holding better than the Dow at this point on this pullback? It doesn't make a ton of sense. Does it set up? Yes or no? That is the question. Okay, we'll see if we can push through. If we can push up, kind of get like, I don't know, maybe 710s give or take. I'd like to see this kind of confirm these lows a little bit better than what it's currently doing here. We traded up to 695s there. If we can do that and get a little bit more of a push, then I'm open to putting a position on here. 695s by 645s. It's technically like 50 points here. All right, I'm gonna try a little bit of Dow here. It stops under those lows, 647s now. And essentially with this, I'm just looking to see if we can't make a move all the way back up to highs throughout the course of the day here. This high is 804s up there. So create an alert. Let's see if we can get through 805s. NASDAQ actually looks pretty good. I think we might try and rally to those 983s again. Maybe even opening print, which would be crazy. And I think the S&Ps are probably headed towards 74.93s. Nice little pop there in the Dow. 735s. A little patience. Just a little patience, baby. Little patience. I know, we've been waiting on this one for a while. Oh boy. We've been waiting on you, Dow. We've been waiting. Just go back to your home all the way up there, 53,000 and change. $300 points from here. I'll be happy with that. High is 53,097s. Yeah. I'm cool with it. I'd be more than cool with that. I'm gonna redo this real quick. Let's see. So entries 52,700, stop loss 52,650s for easy numbers, 53,097s. It's an 8-to-1 risk reward ratio. I love that. We don't necessarily need all that. We passed it the last day before the subscription renewed. Nice. I love that. Listen, Shadow, you get lost with that nonsense, okay? No, sir. Don't need that type of negativity around these parts here, okay? Dow's gonna come down, take me out. That'd be no fun. That bar does look kind of ugly now. I'm about to put hard stops in at 640s on this, most likely. If it trips me out, like that's going to be unfortunate, but I'm keeping an eye on it. I haven't put hard stops in just yet. I kind of want to see us get back up through 689s though. That'd be nice. Over trade 647s exactly. Kind of want to dare it to go lower. Add a little bit of risk on here, but I don't really love the way that just did that. I'm not gonna do that. Hold on one second. All right. Let me see you work, Dow. Under 640s though, I'm less and less interested in anything there. We traded 640s exactly. I did not have a hard stop in, which is an amazing thing because that would have really been upsetting. If we get back over 689s, the risk reward on this trade is really nice. If we get back over 689s, I may add, I'm not sure yet. We'll see what it kind of looks like. See what we do here. Yeah. All right, I'm out. I'm out. I'm open to a re-entry, but we're pushing a little bit lower than I would have liked to have seen there. That was the trade we waited for a while on the day. I don't know if we rug pull on NASDAQ or not. That high up there on S&Ps is 54s. If we were gonna go lower on the day in NASDAQ, we probably should have done it from cracking those 477s down there. Like I'm actually not fairly opposed to the idea anymore that NASDAQ potentially rallies the whole thing back. Like again, I know the weekly chart, I see all the things, right? But it certainly has the potential to be able to do it. We finally did get the week ticks down there on those lows as well. We pushed down into minus 985s. No, it certainly does. The Dow also doesn't look terrible again. I'm gonna let that get up through 689s again before I do anything with it, but it doesn't look bad. If NASDAQ holds this little low here at 652s, and we kind of push up through these 777s up there, I could see us making that run. The Dow is also still trying to hold that at the moment. That low is 2630s, that low is 2690s, so the Russell's still holding as well. The Dow just had to kind of trip us out there a little bit. I don't really understand why that was necessary, but gold making a nice little move there now too. Trying to get a rally. That's why I'm gonna wait for. That's why I'm gonna wait for it to push up over 689s. I don't want to get got again in there. Excuse me. NASDAQ kind of breaking down under those 652s a little bit there. This would be your next short entry if you were looking to want to do something from that standpoint, this would be the short entry in there. I don't necessarily think that's the way to play this at the moment. I kind of think we still rally in here again now after going down and tagging those 477s and all. So I kind of think that just shimmy shallies and then goes back up through those 777s, but I could be completely wrong on that. I don't know that I have the greatest read on the NASDAQ at the moment with that. Same thing there in the S&Ps. I might just eat these meatballs and then call it a day. I'm half tempted to maybe long NASDAQ. It'd be a super risky idea, but it hasn't fully set up. And Dow's kind of a pain in the ass. Yeah, it's right there at it. There's a crazy idea in the NASDAQ here. We can close this out. It'd be like 690 by 640. The timing is kind of terrible for it. but essentially like right in through here, it's a 50-point stop, and I'm kind of thinking the targets are like all the way back up at opening print. So it's like 100 plus points, give or take, if it actually wants to go do it. So it's a rather large move from that standpoint. Whether it'll actually make the move or not is, you know, obviously a different story, but it's not a terrible idea. Wow. That might actually work. It might actually work. I'm interested in the Dow if we get up over these 689s. But I'm kind of starting to think that maybe S&Ps and NASDAQ are going to take a little bit of a lead here. More specifically, NASDAQ. $263.75s. That would be the overnight highs up there. That if NASDAQ could get through these 776s and kind of start pressing, I think it actually might have a shot, which sounds crazy. And that's also coming from the same guy that thought we had room down to like 29,000 earlier. But we held that 477 little low that we took out. Well, there's that low, or there's that high, I should say. All right, let's take a look here. Dow is getting this little pullback here now to 689s. Do we take this or do we wait for just a little bit more is the question. I think Qs might have just hit there. Oh, they did, yeah. This was that level in the Qs. Man, those meatballs were good. Stressful hold. The fact that we have the NASDAQ doing what it's doing, though, I think is a good piece for the Dow. I'm watching this here on this little pullback. See if it's worth doing anything or not. I'm not entirely sure, but we have the Russell right back up into this 30-40 areas here now. If NASDAQ's going to go to 263s, then Dow should be able to at least muster some strength here. I don't love the way it's acted so far, but That looks like it's moving, just spiked there and back to 689s there. I don't know, might just walk away. There's a lot of potential here, but the timing is just not my favorite at the moment. I say that and we'll probably rip, but the 15-minute needs a decent little pop here, like 50 points to really be able to get something going. That's probably the entry right there. I think I'm gonna let it be. I think that was probably the entry, but it's basically coming right back down here where the stop would be now. And not getting the actual trigger in there, so I don't know that I want to give that an additional shot here at the moment. Nasdaq's the only one kind of getting up through those highs there. Russell's right back at opening print, which isn't a bad thing here. I don't know. I gotta pee. I'll be right back though. Yeah, if Dow could get a 15-minute trigger, that wouldn't be too bad. I don't know. It kind of looks like Nasdaq is losing that bit of momentum that it had there. We had popped up, basically got up to where those the Qs had traded that level there. Nasdaq a little bit of a front run. Mm. Oh, let's see if we that low is 609. We're about to trade it now. Might just walk away, call it a day here. I don't know that there's going to be, I don't know that there's going to be anything phenomenal. Like the best thing I see is NASDAQ potential longs, but I don't love that we rejected on the QQQ there. And I was stalking that Dow up there, 689s, we couldn't get it. No triggers. S&P is pulling back a little bit further than I would like to see if we were going to continue that, because that looks a little ugly now compared to NASDAQ, which was the thing I was looking to see, is if S&P's NASDAQ would kind of take charge and make the move. So Apple is now actually finally getting some selling pressure. That's kind of crazy. It needed a rally there. That's actually a little nuts. Possible Dow divergence. I mean, it's got to get, let's kind of get all the way down there. It's 160 points. It's got to drop basically. I think if you want anything from here, and like you have to put a position on, which again, timing is not great. It's 12:30. Like we should be, you know, walking away at this point, which I'm about to do, is potentially the Russell. Like if Russell wants to hold here right around 30-40s and maybe try and do something there, then I could see that. Otherwise here, I think, you know, NASDAQ is maybe going to just end up back in this kind of trend to the downside again, and we're essentially at that point back in trouble from a long perspective. We've lost the Dow, so you could try an S&P short, but I just don't. This is the part where I don't like going teetering back and forth, back and forth. It's like we caught the NASDAQ short, we tried a Dow long, and one worked, one didn't, and it's like now we're kind of in that spot where you can make a good argument for either or, and like I just don't want to do that and be kind of stuck here in either direction. So I don't know. I just don't like where charts are. I don't like the Dow gave that up. So I kind of just want to just keep what we've done on the day and call it, because I don't really get the warm and fuzzies from anything else here. I guess you could make an argument maybe if you wanted to try and short the NASDAQ here, stops over this, you know, like 760s basically. You could try an argument for that. And shadow is right and we go back down through lows later. I was thinking we go lower earlier. We kind of did. Gave it, you know, gave it the old college try. Now we're maybe trying again. We're rejecting from that same 717.41 area for QQQ. Yeah. I don't know. That would be interesting though if Dow actually gives it up and goes through lows. It's a pretty large bar there for the Nasdaq actually. I don't really know what it is I'm looking for here. I'm just still watching for entertainment's sake mostly at this point. $768 being the high of this bar. It's a rather it was almost a 100.5 minute range bar there. Nasdaq maybe holds if if Dow comes down here to try and get these lows. I don't know. None of this is my favorite. So I think we had the best trades on the board of the day that we could have. The Dow unfortunately didn't really give us the greatest entry earlier on that big rally it made from 400s up to 53,000s, which is unfortunate, but there's really nothing we can do about that. As long as we kind of hold this 643s down there on the NASDAQ, 643.75s, I would kind of lean a little bit that it might still manage to hold if Dow comes down, but we're giving it up on the QQQ from the level, so it's like also tough at the same time. Think about it this way, how many times do I ever like teeter back and forth on like the idea of a long versus a short this many times on a given day? Like it's not very often that that's the case, right? It's like, hey, we got this idea, we're looking at this, which initially this morning was a long if we pulled back into 983s, and it's like, okay, we kind of did that, but we just went legitimately straight through it and did not care. And now it's like, All right, we got an 897 point range here. And yeah, I mean, I guess we did just trade up to 867s down here. I guess this is what, a 200 point range basically over the last, 25, 30 minutes. So there's definitely movement, but is it something that we can really capture is the bigger question there. The Dow is giving it up though. Kind of impressed. Kind of impressed with the Dow there. We're close enough to those lows that it makes sense to see if we go tag them, but trading full-size NASDAQ contracts in this with this range that we're having would be kind of wild, honestly. Like anybody that's doing that is they different. I don't know. I don't know how else to put that one. That low is actually 420. That's funny. I didn't notice that before. The low in the Dow on the day is 52 420s. That's funny. That's actually really funny. Oh, my knuckle is itching. Maybe Qs actually do finish out that initial thinking and go down towards 699s. We could see if there's a lotto we could potentially look at doing here. 702s are like 25 cents. kind of late to the party on it, I think, but maybe not if it's actually going to go. What about tomorrow? Whoa, tomorrows are expensive. Ah, fingers itching. I don't know, you can look at like the 702s for NASDAQ. They're like 25 cents for today. They're not terrible. We obviously got to make a pretty large move for those to work, but I thought it was possible earlier. It's looking like it's potentially possible again. If Dow leads the way this time and actually goes through the lows, that would be, I think, an important piece of this. They traded initially this morning to like $3 and change, which is kind of crazy. S&P is about to take out that 14-quarter low from down there. Dow's about to go down and make new lows. NASDAQ prior bar low 605.50s. Where does that come from? Oh, literally right there. We might have ourselves a good old-fashioned schmacking. NASDAQ getting a little bit of a bounce off those 605.50s there. Again, it's 1247s. Let's see, we didn't quite make new lows yet in the Dow. We did kind of push under these little 26s here for the Russell and getting a little bit of a rally back in there. I don't know if that's something to kind of pay attention to or not. That low is 23, so like 5 points in there. But if we were to hold that and rally back up again, 29s, there's like 30 points. We didn't make new lows, like I said, in the Dow or anything, but I don't know. I'm not going to do anything with this, and we're just going to let it be. Part of me is conflicted on direction here. I can see a valid argument for a couple different things here. And I could also see us just not doing really anything but just staying inside this range and chopping and doing a whole lot of, nonsense. Let me see here. I'm seeing if I can't get some more giveaway accounts as well. Okay, sweet. Submitted that. We'll see what that looks like. All right, I'm gonna call it a day there. I don't see that there's anything else for me to do here. And just let it be. So yeah, that's what I got. Kind of uneventful considering like the first, I don't know, 10, 20, 30 minutes of the day, NASDAQ set the entire range and then has done absolutely nothing since then, which is kind of annoying. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, Dow might come down to make these lows, but NASDAQ kind of seems like it wants to hold at the same time. Like it's just, I'm tired of going back and forth on the thought process and trying to find something to potentially do here. We've waited around, it's damn near 1 o'clock, so we've been here 3.5 hours. Yeah, I've been live for 3:20, so no, I know. It's kind of crazy. All right, anyways, I'm gonna roll. Appreciate you guys. We'll be back tomorrow, see what this market wants to finish up doing here for the week. But kind of crazy, interesting action. So we'll see if we can't keep the same energy in terms of 900-point ranges tomorrow, but hopefully be able to give us something to work with and do a little bit more than today did. So anyways, that's what I got. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Take care. Code MLT, all your favorite prop firms. Lucid, Apex, Top One, Tradeify, and daytraders.com. Those are the 5 that I'm currently working with. And working on getting more giveaways like the one currently going on in the Discord at the moment. So anyway, that's what I got. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.